Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Titans Season 2, and this is, of course, as you can tell by the title, going to be my review for Episode 2 for Season 2, otherwise entitled, very simply, as we always do with the Titans episode, as Rose, as in, yep, you've guessed it, Rose Wilson. So last episode was obviously Episode 1, the season premiere, where it did struggle because it had to deal with what Season 1 did, where it didn't properly finish, so they had to like cram it in there. The last 20 minutes of Episode 1 was great. I loved every single moment of it. But obviously the first 2/3 of it were a bit of a struggle, and you sort of do feel that in this episode, because this episode wasn't even 40 minutes. It was like, I think if you take out the recap, the intro, and the credits, it was like maybe 36 minutes or something like that. Just going off the top of my head, just by some quick math. So very short episode. I think we had a couple of these in Season 1 as well, which were a bit odd. But as we saw at the end of last episode, the Titans have moved into Titans Tower, or I should say the younger kids have moved into Titans Tower. We see Hank, Dawn, Corey, and Donna go on their own different way, if you want to call it. So there's a bit of a split. Not, in a very angry way, but they've just split up. Now, this episode contained basically a lot of cool stuff. The main focuses were, of course, Rose Wilson. We also see the introduction of Dr. Light and stuff, but there's more to talk about, which we'll talk about, right now. But of course, big spoilers, because we're going to talk about everything in depth. So if you haven't watched the episode, go watch it, then come back. Now, just a shout out. The episode started off with Rock the Casbah. You can't beat a bit of that. So I was very happy when that started playing. I was like, that's a great way to start off an episode. So yeah, I was tapping my foot to it as the episode started to go. But when Rock the Casbah, I think, just finishes playing, we do see that we've had a time jump. We're 3 months from where we were. So the Titans have been in the Titans Tower now for 3 months. They've done a decent amount of training, got to know each other a bit more. But this makes sense because I have a feeling this is probably what they wanted to do at the beginning of Season 2. Maybe there might have been like a 10-minute intro thing, and then it's 3 months later. But I think pretty much Season 2 would have started with this time jump, just because they don't have to focus too much on some development, them getting used to this tower and stuff. And you can just see that this tower feels lived in for a couple of months as well. So it's just a typical in-between season break that has, unfortunately, just due to the struggles that the show had, at the end of Season 1, has, we've only seen this happen in Episode 2. But yeah. But speaking of the Titans Tower, the training scenes between Jason and Gar were, pretty cool. It's Ryan Potter, I think that's the guy's name that plays Gar, or Beast Boy. He did that whole video when he was basically auditioning for Robin a couple of years ago, which I'm pretty sure basically got him linked with DC and stuff, and then got him the Titans job. But I'm pretty sure that was basically him doing every single bit of that. Maybe the guy that plays Jason was doing it all as well. But I thought that was pretty well done. Like, the actual movement of the camera was actually pretty cool as well. But I think it was actually smart having Jason not liking the whole setup for what he has at the moment. And, I think the scenes between Dick and him are going to be fairly strong, at least for the opening half of this season. I don't know necessarily where they're going to go with the Jason character, whether they're going to keep him on the Titans for seasons to come, or they might try and spur him onto something else, or make him meet a crowbar. I'm not too sure where they're going to go with him. But while it's there, I think the Dick and Jason scenes are going to be good. And they also have the Nightwing tease when Dick's like, look, you're Robin now. That's not my job. You're Robin. And Jason asks him who are you? And, Dick's on that discovery now. I think there was an interview where they were talking about Nightwing. There's been rumors that he gets it middle of the season. But by the sounds of it, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the middle of the season. Like a lot of characters getting a lot of story stuff. So I don't know if they'd put the Nightwing stuff there. So I'd probably expect Nightwing towards the end of the season, if anything. Now, as I said, Dr. Light is in this episode. I think Dr. Light looked cool from what we had him in this episode. If you've seen the trailer for Season 2, I think he's in both of them. The first sneak peek and the actual trailer. His suit is a bit weird. It's not like Dr. Light in the comics, or any other interpretation. It's a bit weird, but maybe it's just a makeshift suit for now to help him channel his powers or something like that. But his intro scene was cool. I wonder who let him out. It couldn't have been Slade Wilson, could it? Because of all that blood and all those dead people. So I was sort of disappointed we didn't see him, but maybe they wanted to make it a bit innocuous and a bit vague or something like that. But I was a bit disappointed we actually didn't see Deathstroke in this episode in any way apart from a computer screen. But you know what? They're probably just, saving that for a bit. And I think there's episode 4 or 5 is actually called Deathstroke. So they're probably going to save all the good Deathstroke stuff until then. Now, as I said before, Hank and Dawn, obviously at the end of episode 1, went in, split along with Donna and Corey as well. But we do see Hank and Dawn sort of living the quiet life, if you want to call it, with a bit of a side of worry, just, because of their past and everything and, what could potentially happen. But yeah, looked like a nice quiet life. I wouldn't complain about that, with all that meat coming in, all that steak you'd have for dinner. So I don't think there's anything too much to complain about there. Now, this wasn't really that negative. I just felt like it wasn't the most exciting bit, because I thought, like, all the build-up, you thought there would have been a bigger thing at the end of it, but we do see Donna and Corey having their stakeout for the metahuman Shimmer. That Australian accent, as an Australian, it was a bit Crocodile Dundee-esque, and by that I mean it sounded like a person doing a Crocodile Dundee impersonation. I don't know if the actress was Australian or she was put on the accent. I don't know, borderline offensive? I don't know. Can you be racist to Australian accents? I don't know. If you can, then call that a racist move. But yeah, so Shimmer, bit of a weird accent going on there, but we do get a Roy Harper shout out. Not once. You also see Donna get a phone call from Roy as well. I thought that was pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting that. We heard that there's meant to be like a Wally West sort of thing, like reference and stuff in this season, so I'm going to assume it's going to be similar to that. Will we ever get to see Roy Harper on the show? I'd hope maybe next season we could, but by the sounds of it, it sounds like he was, part of the group, X amount of years ago when like Dick had just, was like in his prime as Robin. Aqualad was still there, and that's maybe where Wally West was as well. So we won't see like a younger version of Arsenal like we have with like Beast Boy and Jason Todd, Robin and Raven and stuff. It's going to be an older version, which I guess makes sense because of just how things roll in the comics as well. Like, he's usually a bit older. He's not in that junior bit. That's usually the spot for another Archer. But hopefully we get to see him in future seasons. I highly doubt we'll see him this season. But, I'd expect more cool shout-outs to that to other, Titans members from the past. So we'll have to keep our eye out for that. Now, Titans Tower pretty much is like a boarding school. Almost like the rooms look like that. We see Raven in a room reading The Art of War, I think it was. I think we see Bruce Wayne reading that as well. I'm trying to remember if it was on his computer or not. I think it was when Dick rings him later in the episode. But was Dick trying to make them all go keto because he made the pizza with, like, the pizza crust was made out of cauliflower? Is that like a keto recipe? If it was, like, don't force that crap on people, Dick, because that can be dangerous. That can be dangerous, making someone go keto and then they snap out of that. Not good. So try not to do that, Dick. Don't force that on people. Now, Rose Wilson's intro fight scene was actually pretty cool on the rooftop and everything. Sort of reminded me of like Batman Begins. Like when he's in like the Batmobile and stuff, it looked like that a lot. The wire work was a bit dodgy. I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone saw that when she jumped off the car. You could see like her body like floats really weirdly. So the wire work was a bit dodgy, but it was only there for like half a second. But I think it was pretty obvious at the same time. But that fight scene on the rooftop was pretty cool. Now, at first, I thought Dick recognized Rose Wilson. Like, he knew who she was. Like, okay, oh crap, that's Slade Wilson's daughter, and that's why he brought her in. But he doesn't know that. Like, well, at least we're led to believe he doesn't know that. So he just brought her in because it's like a similar situation, I guess, to what he was in, just like this, I guess, lost person, if you want to call it. Rose isn't a fan, obviously, being brought into Titans Tower, but at first I just thought that Dick recognized her. I don't think the show made it clear at first, because I don't know, was I the only one that thought that, or did everyone, or at least most people, think that he recognized her and that's why he brought her in? But yeah, so he didn't know her, but he just brought her in because I guess felt sorry for her and just wanted, it's a similar situation to him, as I was saying before. Now, we do see Dove doing like the solo hero work by taking down that meth lab, and like Hank's obviously not amazed, as you could expect, because she's going behind his back. This is the thing where like the episode was super short, but I think they could have added more to this episode. Like, maybe they could have, I don't know, fleshed out the fight between Corey, Donna, and Shimmer that we'll talk about in a second. And they could have fleshed out this. We could have seen like 2 scenes where maybe Hank's a bit suspicious, or maybe he sees like something wrong with Dawn or something like that, and he's a bit suspicious, and then we get this scene with the meth lab, and then it all builds up. I thought it was like, okay, he just finds out after one night and all that. I thought that was a bit strange. They could have stretched out on that. Seeing that this episode was so short, it's not like it was 50 minutes and that's why they crammed it in. They had time to spare, so I'm surprised there wasn't more of that, but not the biggest complaint. They could have just fleshed out on it more. Now, Dr. Light setting that Ellis kid up as a bomb was pretty crazy. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought he had his throat slit, and I thought it was like a Deathstroke thing. But I thought it would have been, like, at the same time I was thinking, okay, maybe Deathstroke versus Hank and Dawn right now it'd be almost unbelievable if they got out of that situation, but then he just blows up. I thought that was pretty crazy, and that just sets Hank and Dawn on their way to back to Titans Tower, I guess. But that was pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting that. But I was the same before, like the Corey and Donna versus Shimmer fight. It was short but sweet. Like, what we saw was cool, like the whole lasso and stuff like that. As I said, I think maybe this could have been longer. like a cooler fight scene, but maybe it was just mocking that Shimmer's just a bit crap. Like, let's be completely honest, not the coolest character. So maybe that was the whole joke of it. I'm guessing that's actually what they were going for. But I guess the big thing that happens after this, outside of the Roy Harper phone calls, of course, Corey's abducted by another Tamaran. It'd be interesting to see where that goes and how long Corey's out of business in regards to interacting with the other Titans. Very interested to see where they go with that, actually. But they just sort of it just ends there. So we'll have to wait till next episode or episodes to come. Now, Dick calling Bruce for more advice. I am curious whether this will be a regular occurrence, because some people think that that Bruce Wayne was just an episode 1 thing. It's not. I think he's confirmed for episode 6 and 8. I think those are the 2 episodes he's definitely confirmed for that he was actually seen on set. So I'm assuming this will be like a regular occurrence that Dick might ring Bruce if needed for advice, like he did with Rose. I have to wait and see that. We'll have to wait and see how they actually use the Bruce character. But of course we have Dr. Light after the Titans. That's basically set up for next episode. Like Dr. Light, I think even on the DC Universe app, like Dr. Light's the actual thumbnail for the next episode. So I'm assuming like he's going to be like the villain of the week, if you want to call it. But we actually get the big reveal to everyone, at least Gar and Jason, that they find out who Rose really is, where she is the daughter of Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. And I thought it was cool that Jason knew him. Because we know that like Deathstroke's going to be a villain that the old Titans versed. So I wonder if Jason's versed him, or Jason's just read up on like the history of who Batman's taken on or who everyone's taken on and stuff. Maybe because he was on the Titans computer, he's just come across a file. Because I think Dick refers to, or he alludes to Jason using the Bat computer for porn. I think he alludes to that earlier in the episode. But so maybe he looked in files and saw that. Let me know what you think there. But overall, I thought this was actually a really strong episode. And episode 2, as I said, it was short. I think it could have done with an extra, at least 5 minutes, just to maybe flesh out maybe some more stuff with Hank and Dawn. Just showed maybe one more scene of Dove going out and doing some stuff. And maybe done a bit more of a longer thing with the Shimmer thing, but maybe the whole setup and then crap fight was the big joke, because Shimmer's a joke of a character. Maybe that's what they were going for there. Not too sure, but really no massive complaints. I thought it was really solid. I think it actually did a really good job seeing it had to follow episode 1 where it was a bit messy. So I think actually the fact that this was actually pretty damn good was actually adds to the impressiveness, if that's a word, of the episode. So I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what they do next episode, especially with Dr. Light. And I think we're going to get maybe a Deathstroke flashback next week, maybe, because of the news there right at the end of the episode. So like Dick might have a flashback, or Hank and Dawn might. Interested to see what they do there. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below. What did you think of this episode of the Titans? What would you give it out of 10? What were your favorite parts? Let me know down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.